The business of owning a video game store is vicious. There's high overhead and high competition, and on top of that, both retail stores and physical media are seeing a decline in popularity with the masses. Today, video game stores are closing across the country, but
somebody was like, you can make the same working as a cashier at McDonald's. So what we're doing now is we might get rid of video games.
Not really anything in the bank.
So many resellers. There's not enough product.
I don't have any more money in the bank than when I started 5 years ago.
something is happening to video game stores like this one.
Good morning, you broke-ass Timmies. I know y'all are broke as fuck, so here I have come to provide you with some free entertainment. I know all my broke-ass Timmies out there love some free shit. So by the intro, you've probably realized that this video today is about Phoenix Resale, our good old pal here on this channel, Caleb. Over the last year or so, Caleb has taken it upon himself to showcase to all of us through his YouTube channel how absolutely brutal it is to run a video game store. He's taken his camera and traveled to many different game stores, interviewed many different store owners about how they are absolutely financially struggling, and then, to top it all off, he trades them in a bunch of junk games that will sit on their shelves for decades to come, while simultaneously begging for discounts on all of their good stock, so that he can take it home and flip it on Amazon. Everybody give it up for Caleb. Phoenix Resale. What a guy. Why don't we take a look at some of the cryptic thumbnails Caleb has used over the last year? The reality of owning a video game store. I'm down $130,000 this month. Yikes. That sounds pretty bad. The reality of owning a pawn shop. I still haven't paid myself. Jesus Christ. The brutal reality of owning a video game store. Never open a game store. Never fucking do it. The sad future of video game vendors. I've closed 4 locations. The cutthroat world of owning a video game store. I've built my own prison. Holy shit. The unforgiving world of reselling video games. It's becoming impossible.
This is impossible!
Why this game store is quitting video games. We're getting rid of all the video games. And my personal favorite, are local video game stores okay? Physical games don't sell anymore. So, as you can see, Caleb has spent the better part of a year, or even more than that at this point, informing us that opening or owning a video game store is simply
hell on earth.
I mean, people don't make money, their shit doesn't sell, they're closing locations, they're down $130,000, and they're building their very own personal prisons within their own business. So that's what we've gathered here from literally just from scrolling through the thumbnails on his channel. But Caleb is smarter than all these poor schmucks who opened video game stores. Fucking idiots. He sells on Amazon. Amazon is where the money's at. He would never dream of opening a video game store. So, after over a year, just about, of essentially trashing the idea of ever owning or opening a video game store, Phoenix Resale is opening a video game store. I just want to say, before we continue here, this is quite the bold move, because you know people are going to come for you about this. Like, he has to know that this wasn't going to be well received, right? At first, I was very confused when I first saw this. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I thought video game stores were the bane of his existence. He just fucking hated the idea of ever opening or running his own video game store. But as he explains everything, it starts to make a lot more sense what's happening here.
Imagine what a lot of you guys are wondering right now is, Caleb, how the heck did you go from I'm never opening a video game store to I just signed a lease on a video game store?
Yes. What the fuck? I will not bore you guys with like watching him explain everything. I'm just gonna kind of sum it up for you here. So basically, his basement is overcrowded. He has multiple employees now, I guess, working for his Amazon store and his Quick Flips app. And I guess his basement is too small for the business to grow any further than it has now. So he claims. Anyways, he gets this space here that used to be an old karate dojo. So the building basically has like 2 different rooms. The largest room will be a warehouse, essentially, where he can store all of his greed. I mean, video games. And the smaller section will be the storefront. When listing his reasons of why he has come to this decision, he basically only says that his basement is too small now, and that he relies too much on Amazon and YouTube revenue. And I guess he just wants another stream of income or something to fall back on in case his Amazon store ever gets shut down.
As may be wondering, Caleb, why here? Why in this exact part of town, in this building that clearly needs a lot of work? And the reason for it is this right here. This is Man o' War Boulevard. It is one of the busiest streets in all of Lexington, Kentucky, and you can see that from it, we have a very clear sight line straight up to the video game store. There is a new video game store in town, and its name is Quick Flips Video Games.
He's naming the store Quick Flips after his app. I personally would not know that that was a video game store. If I drove by a store and it was called Quick Flips, yeah, I wouldn't know what the fuck that was. And I probably wouldn't even try to figure it out, if I'm being completely honest. I would maybe assume it's a pawn shop of some kind, because anything with flips in the name, you're thinking like, oh, okay, you're gonna like go in and sell something. I hope he's at least going to name it like Quick Flips Video Games or something, because people aren't gonna know what the fuck that is. But anyways, let's see what the comments have to say about Phoenix Resale opening his own video game store. I hope Retro Rick visits you with a bunch of cheap games when you first open. Don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure about the lore of this, but I saw a lot of comments like this, so I'm assuming that around the time Retro Rick opened his video game store, Caleb must have gone in and dumped a bunch of cheap games on him. And there are 750 likes on that comment, so wow. Gonna go in and ask for 60% off if I bundle up enough. Guys, stop commenting about how you're gonna undercut him. I don't have time to keep liking your comments. Man, there's just a ton of comments in here about haggling with him. Fair enough. He does that to just about every game store he's ever visited. He dumps a bunch of crap on them and asks for discounts on the stuff he's buying, so it's only fair for people to assume he, you know, they can go in and do the same to him. In Caleb's own words, collaborate. Don't compete. So if somebody like him shows up with a bin of garbage games to trade in, or asks to pay 60% of whatever Caleb's prices are in the store, then Caleb is certainly going to collaborate, right? Yeah, guys, I wouldn't bet on it. He's not gonna do that with y'all. He's not going to collaborate with you guys. Should call it ass flips. After all the trash he's talked about video game stores, yeah, you went from saying video game stores are dying to opening one? And there's just a ton of comments in here like these two right here where they're just pointing out the fact that he's been trashing opening a video game store, running a video game store for over a year now on his YouTube channel. Just making it look like it is extremely difficult, it's extremely unstable financially, and that what he's doing by not having a storefront and selling on Amazon is way more lucrative. But from going to that to sort of turning your back on everything you've portrayed on this channel in the past, he had to know that people would have criticisms regarding that, right? Hopefully your store prices are better than your Amazon prices. If you guys haven't seen his Amazon prices, they're really insane. His store name on Amazon is Alliance Refurbs, and all the video games in his store are nearly double what you will find them for out in the wild somewhere. I really will never understand who's paying that much money for retro video games because it's actually insane. DK Oldies 2.0. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. I scrolled through these comments for quite a while, and I was honestly surprised to see just how many of them were negative. He got absolutely destroyed in his comment section on this video, and I expected to see, you know, plenty of comments like this, but not nearly this many. It's just about every single comment. There are hardly any comments in there being like, congratulations, good luck. Mostly it's everyone just being like, I'm gonna come in and trade you a bunch of fucking garbage. Day one of opening, he just has like tons of people ready with tubs of garbage games ready to trade in. But here's a comment that encapsulates Phoenix Resale's channel in a nutshell. Man, when I first subbed to this guy, he was always talked about in high regard. Haven't really watched any of his videos for some years now, and it's staggering how many people are straight up trashing him now. The fall off is real, man. Never forget where you came from. That's what happens when you let greed win, though. You know, people don't want to support you when you're just a greedy son of a bitch. And over the years, he's just gotten greedier and greedier, man. Like, he is a prime example of how greed really can take over your life. What I found really, really interesting about this, though, guys, is that Caleb actually put out an application for what looks to be a store manager. Looking for a retail veteran who can teach me everything we need to know about retail and merchandising. Video game and Pokemon card experience is a bonus. I told y'all he was coming for Pokemon cards next. I called it. I fucking called that shit. Last time I talked about him, I said, yeah, he's gonna come for the Pokemon cards. There's no way that he sees Pokemon cards making this much money and doesn't try to also leech off of that as well. Even though he's not really a fan of Pokemon cards, clearly doesn't know anything about it, but wherever there's money, there's Caleb. Let's take a look at the application, guys. I printed it out right here so that we could just read it right now. It's titled Store Manager, Video Games, and Pokemon Cards. The pay is $45,000 to $60,000 a year, and this person would have to work every single weekend, it looks like, so that sucks ass. By the looks of the responsibilities here, guys, this person is going to have a lot on their plate, including, but not limited to, I'm sure, hiring a assistant manager, learning all of the point of sales, pricing all of the inventory, training on our inventory intake and inspection processes, and creating retail employee policies and procedures. That is a ton of responsibility from a store manager. It essentially looks like this person will be running the store for Caleb, and that he doesn't really plan on having much involvement running the storefront itself. I love this part here, though, because again, I saw this coming from a mile away about the Pokemon cards. One of the qualifications to get hired as the store manager is that you must have a deep knowledge of Pokemon cards. This is a product category we will be expanding into and will be buying and selling heavily, guys. I really do believe he's kind of getting into it a little too late, though. The initial boom has kind of like come and gone, and I do think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a steady decline from here. I could be wrong. That's just my prediction. Looking at the benefits also for this job, the only benefit listed is paid time off, so like no healthcare? Because I'm not really sure why you would expect a full-time employee who's only making $45,000 to $60,000 a year wouldn't need healthcare. You're gonna need to include some healthcare benefits of some kind at that salary, otherwise it's just like completely fucked up. A comment under this post that he made says, looking for world class but only paying $45K. Yeah, I mean $45K and no healthcare benefits, that's pretty rough, especially in this economy, and especially with the amount of work and, you know, expectations that are going to be required of this person. Some people speculated that the only reason Caleb wanted to get a sort of storefront would be to get access to Pokemon card distributors. I don't know how true that is. I don't know anything about that, but he's definitely going to be trying to get Pokemon card distributor access if he hasn't already. Well, anyway, I find all of this very odd. He has spent so much time claiming that having a video game storefront is just like a horrible business model and horrible idea. I don't know how it'll go for him, honestly, but all of this just goes to show that he's just gonna follow the money wherever it can be made. He's gonna follow the money. He's gonna squeeze this for anything he can get out of it. And it looks like Pokemon cards are up next on Caleb's hobby killing chopping block. He's got his greedy little fingers on the Pokemon cards, guys. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to touch on that for a moment because I find the whole thing very strange. The whole thing kind of came out of nowhere. I would have never expected him to do something like this. When you spend over a year just down talking what it is to run a video game store, I think it's only fair that he's receiving the amount of criticism he's receiving right now. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm off to go apply to be the store manager of Phoenix Resale's video game storefront with my deep knowledge of Pokemon cards. Hopefully I got the audio fixed on this one, y'all. I'm trying my best, I promise. And I will see you broke ass Timmies in the next video. Bye, guys.